for iPhone Max 13. And I gotta be honest, this phone kind of sucks. You know, if you use Android, you know the functionality to it, and then you go to iPhone, there's so many limitations. It's like unbelievable. So anyway, just vetting a little bit. You guys are probably iPhone people. That's all you know. But man, if you ever go over to the Android side and go back to iPhone, it's a lesson learned. I'll just say.
That's good. That's good to know. I've been debating making the switch back to iPhones purely for iMessage. You get too much grief for being the green bubbles and taking everyone out of the iMessage group chat. But yeah, I don't want to lose my file directory. It's Android. There's
so
a lot.
much functionality. Even the voice to text, I honestly feel is like 7 to 8 years behind. Like Android back in 2013, 14, it wouldn't be perfect. Android pretty much is perfect now. Anytime I use voice to text, it's almost 100% correct. It's like 50-50 with the voice to text on Apple. It's awful.
Is that do you use that a lot when you're driving, or is that just anytime instead of texting?
Anytime, but I do use it in driving quite a bit. But you know, it's when I'm communicating even over Twitter, over Messenger, if I want to just kind of go through a paragraph of stuff, it's easier just to speak it. And then I speak it now on this iPhone, and like half of the words are wrong. It's awful.
Yes, I experienced that. Somehow I still understood most of the messages.
Oh yeah. So you were one of the people I've started. I mean, I just don't want to feel. I'm like, oh my god, half the messages like didn't make any sense.
Yes, and exactly. It's like Twitter DM doesn't really have the editing function, so you're just sitting there wondering, okay, is my English too bad?
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. All right, so we got Chain's on, Powder's on, Zoolana's on. Brick, who do you represent?
I'm a co-founder of Zoolana, so DD is speaking from the Zoolana account as well.
We got Koopy, my co-host, on here. And Koopy, is it you or is it Soul Trader?
No, it's Soul Trader today.
All right, good morning.
Koopy's off. Morning.
Cool. So who are we still waiting on here? Let's see. We've got Botborgs. I think we still need to have those guys jump in. OpenEra as well, although they've been pretty quiet. I haven't heard back from them yet. Kunal, I don't know if Kunal is a project. Let's see if he's one of the folks. I'll bring him up here. Hey, Kunal.
Can I speak?
Are you with one of the main projects we're talking to today, or are you just a listener?
I'm interested in talking about today's project, which is Powder Heroes.
Say it again.
What? Sorry?
What project are you with, Kunal?
Powder Heroes. Powder Heroes.
Okay, so you want...
Hello?
Hey, all right, I just muted him.
Hello? Am I audible now?
Yeah, welcome to join, Kunal. Thank you for joining. I think it's a little bit loud in your background sound.
Yeah. Is he on your team?
I think he's within our community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kunal, we'll come back to you, brother. You got a lot of loud noise. Maybe you're in a cafe, which is totally cool. But for the show, it's kind of hard to hear you. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go around the horn. So we should have 5 or 6 projects on. We've got the Infungibles here, which I'm excited to talk with again. ChainMyth, who's been having an awesome week. We've also got Powder Heroes, Zoolana, the other two. Super pumped to have both of those guys on. Thank you for jumping in. We are waiting on Botborgs and OpenEra. They're supposed to be joining us as well. I don't know if they've got like a last minute conflict or something like that. But hopefully one of those two or both of those folks will jump on. If they aren't able to jump on this call, we do these shows almost every day, several days a week, either 8 a.m. Central or 10:30. So follow us, follow me, follow Koopy, follow these projects. We'll continue to have really good people on here talking about NFTs, usually on the Solana side. But could be just art, could be just gaming like we're covering today. Tomorrow we've got a pretty unique show that we're going to be running, which is just, we're going to call it the Power Hour. So we're going to invite all different types of projects up to kind of come and speak, just kind of off the cuff. So if you're just curious as to what's happening across the ecosystem of Sol NFTs, it's going to be a pretty good hour, probably 2 to 3 minutes per project, and just power through hearing about a number of really cool different projects. So for today, we've got some awesome projects that are focused on gaming. I'm sure many of you follow these different projects, are in their Discords, all that stuff. What we're going to talk through today, I've got just a couple fun questions I want to open up with, just as an icebreaker for the different projects. And then after that, and literally, guys, if you can respond in like 30 seconds, 15, 30 seconds, that'd be fun. And then we'll go through each project, give them, 3 to 5 minutes to kind of talk about who they are, what they're building, maybe a little bit about their project, their team, I should say. And then after we give the 4 or 5 projects that opportunity, then we'll go deeper. Usually that's about 25 minutes in. And I know, Zoolana, you've got an hour before you've got to hop, which we're grateful to have you guys. Usually these calls go over an hour. We'll try to keep it to an hour. It could go an hour and a half, as long as we've got a lot of questions coming from the community. And you guys are able to stay on from the project side. We'll continue to keep the spaces open until things kind of start to slow down. So that's kind of the setup for today. I do want to give a shout out to Koopy, who's my kind of partner in crime on this. We do these shows several days a week. They've got a pretty awesome NFT calendar. You can get in there. You can take a look at the different projects that are launching. They also have a drop happening sometime, probably Q1, but adding a lot of functionality and technology around the NFT system as well. Koopy, let me hand the mic over to you if you have anything else you want to share on what's happening with you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, so any projects that aren't listed on our site, if you just head over and add yourselves or DM us. As Moon was saying, we've got some cool tools coming in Q1. We're doing a mint for that. Basically building tools around kind of holding NFTs, making things easier and quicker, rather than having to go to lots of marketplaces and look for NFTs all over the place. So hoping to launch our site in the next week, so you'll be able to hear more about that. So just give us a follow, and then you can keep updated.
Awesome. I would just ask you guys, reshare the space if you can. If you're on the project side, post it up in your Discord, reshare in your Twitter account as well. Love to get as many folks in here as we can. Looking forward to having just a really fun session. I've also got a buddy of mine, Alec Torelli, joining us today with Koopy off. Koopy's on here, but his business partner is kind of taking his account. I'm also going to bring up Alec just to be a part of the panel, or I guess the kind of the hosting side, to have some fun. He does a lot of research on all types of NFTs, has a great YouTube show. Check him out. Alex, I sent the invite over to you. And then I also have Ko joining us. I don't know if Ko, she's just coming in here. Botborgs is coming in as well. All right, the room's starting to fill up. This is going to be a pretty awesome show. So opening questions, just for kind of a fun icebreaker. What I wanted to start with was, one, give us an answer to what has been the biggest challenge for your project. I'd just be curious, without kind of explaining it, what have you been struggling with as far as like building this thing out? And then two, other than your own project, what is like one other NFT gaming project that you've kind of been following or have some kind of passion for? So those are the two kind of icebreaker questions. If we can have each project take literally 30 seconds just as an icebreaker, and then we'll go back to all you guys and dig into what you're building. Let's just go down the line here with the spaces. Let's start with Chain, then go to Zoo, then go to Bot, Powder, Infungibles, and then OpenEra. So Chain, can you answer my two questions, and we'll move on to Zoo?
Yo, thanks, man. Thanks for having us here. So yeah, this is Zo from ChainMyth. So regarding your questions, like what are the challenges we met during our project, and second is, other than our project, which other NFT gaming project is awesome? I mean, which we are inspired from. So for first question, since we are building FPS game, for us the most challenging part is the animations. Whenever you cast spells or whenever you reload a gun, these are the kind of animations any players will be looking at. So this is a very challenging part for us, because every time we design or we animate a specific gun for a specific character, we have revised it like multiple times. Every time we revise it, we just don't feel that 100% satisfaction. So it took us close to almost 2 months just to sort out that gun animations and spell animations. So that is one of the most hardest part in our project. And if you ask me who are the other NFT gaming projects in this space which we are really inspired or which we really feel excited about, is
Yeah,
first
just name one. You got one, and you got to pick the best one.
Oh, the best one, I'll go for Illuvium. It's on Ethereum, but yeah, I love them.
Very cool. All right, thanks, Chain. We'll come back to you. Zoo, over to you, brother. Biggest challenge and your favorite NFT gaming project?
Yo,
Guys, thanks for jumping on.
can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, brother.
All right. I guess one of the challenges that we face is, um, the communication between artists and what we actually want. Because, me and Break, we have very, very high expectations in terms of what we actually look like, and art direction isn't always fun on the side. And like Zoe has mentioned, there are tons of iterations that we will then go back and forth together with them. And yeah, that's part of the challenge that we face in Zoolana. And I guess favorite project, I would guess, if we're talking about Solana, we've been fans of kaiju cards for the longest time.
That's a good one too, brother. Thank you. And thanks for being concise. Perfect. All right, we'll come back to you. Botborgs, good morning.
Good morning.
I feel like
Yes.
you tweet something, you like it, so I appreciate you guys following what we're doing over here, and grateful to have you.
Thank you for hosting. But yeah, so for us, the biggest challenge has just been finding artists to develop, like similar to ChainMyth, finding artists to develop the especially for like the spaceships. Like it's been kind of difficult because a ton of the people that we're looking for are already working for Star Atlas. Like all of the people that make like the cool spaceships on ArtStation and like all on like the 3D platforms, they're all already working for Star Atlas. So it's been kind of hard for us to find like good artists to create the spaceships and stuff like that, like more of like the sci-fi futuristic stuff. But aside from that, it's been pretty fine. And then in terms of a project I really like what the Sandbox is doing on ETH, because it's kind of similar to what we want to do, but in a different type of theme, where it's like we're building like an open world kind of environment that's like planetary based, and they also have like kind of like an open world environment where you're able to like teleport from location to location.
Love it. All right, Botborgs, thank you. We'll circle back with you guys. If you guys can, tweet the space, get this open, get in your Discords. We've got about 55 folks in here. We should easily break 100 with the projects that we have on. So let's get this room as big as we can. Let's get more eyeballs on these projects. These guys are taking time to jump on and kind of tell us more about what they're doing. So let's make it worth their while. Powder Heroes, you guys have a giveaway that we're doing. We launched it yesterday. I think it's got an hour or two left on it. I will pin that tweet up here in a second. Infungibles is doing a giveaway as well, which I'll pin up here for everyone that's in the room. But Powder, over to you, brother. Answer the two questions, then we'll go to Infungibles. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for co-hosting the giveaway with us and having us in the space. So just briefly answer your two questions because I don't want to take too much time of the stage. For the first question, what is the biggest difficulty? So for us, the project is a little bit special. It's about game clip NFTs. And one of the biggest problem or difficulty that we had was about the IP rights. And the reason is when you think about gameplay and you are a content creator, it's not exactly like you own 100% of the content that you produce. Surprise. There is also the gaming studio that is involved in it. So it's really about building an ecosystem of a create to earn concept and also about like shared ownership and transparency in the Web3 gaming that we are looking to do. And for the second question, name one other. Okay, only one. That is a difficult question. So my personal favorite, like for now, is the Sandbox because I really like that it's kind of like Minecraft, but they have gone one step beyond in a way that they enable many more gaming and crypto and NFT enthusiasts to build their own gaming experience and then monetize them. The project is obviously getting a lot of traction at the moment, so that's kind of like a proof of concept. And we're also doing a partnership with them for the Christmas drop, in which we have invited like 14 of our streamers to live broadcast their game on Twitch. Yeah.
Oh, wow, very cool. All right, Powder, thank you. We'll circle back. Infungibles, over to you for jumping on.
Okay, hey, thanks for having us. And I'm going to do this within 30 seconds, MoonRover. Biggest challenge has been feature creep as we've discovered so many new things we can do with partner NFT projects. We keep adding things to the game, and we have to stop that at a certain point. So that's the biggest challenge. And another project that we admire a lot has been BitBrawl. They've been super helpful to us, and their whole team is really kind of like a pillar in the community. You ask them questions, they get back to you right away, and they've just been an inspiration to watch. So we've learned a lot from them, been inspired by them, and that's it.
Thank you. That was concise. Love it. And I BitBrawl, Chain, you guys, I mean, all the guys in this room really very responsive. It's been a ton of fun learning more about gaming. I've learned a lot from Alec, who's on the panel here, and then Ko, who's very well known in the gaming space. Has been a huge help to me, just learning more about how to dig into different gaming projects and what expectations should be and so on and so forth. So Ko, glad to have you on the call to share a little bit more about what you're doing and Panzer Dogs and all that stuff too, but help me ask some good questions later on as we kind of dig into some of the data. OpenEra, over to you. Thanks for joining. Good morning to you. Answer the 2 quick questions and we'll go in deep with each of these 6 projects. Thank you.
Sure thing. Hello everyone, this is Irvin. Thank you for having us on.
Pleasure.
I think overall, getting the right people with either an understanding in game dev and blockchain or crypto, or a willingness to learn, is a tough part. And what I'm referring to is, for example, what happened with Stalker 2. There was a huge backlash when they announced they're going to be doing NFTs. And so, for example, when we were early on hiring from Ubisoft and Epic, there was a lot of confusion between game developers and designers, because there's still a bit of a stigma when you approach them and tell them you're going to launch NFTs that's going to have its own cryptocurrency. So that's a bit of a tough part, but gladly internally we're full stack, and we've been able to grow our team with people that are coming from some big names and are willing to kind of understand how crypto and blockchain comes into play and the opportunities for the users overall. And so to the second question, I honestly would say that one of my favorite games overall in general that's being developed is Aurori, which is in Solana. And the reason to this is because of the team, and in reality because they're one of the very few games that is actually approaching the development process with high fidelity. So they're not just pushing out cinematic videos or kind of promo videos, but actually have a working product, and have been also scaling out their team with folks from big gaming studios like Ubisoft, for example.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Aurori, actually, I read a lot about it. I have not played around with that yet, but I don't own one of their NFTs, but I know there's a huge following around it. That one in Sandbox, obviously, which is outside of Solana. So, all right, very cool. Ko, let me ask you a quick question, and then we'll go into the projects. Coming from the gaming industry, and I know Infungibles, you've got 10 years of experience there as well. But Ko, I'd be curious as to, what has the feedback been from some of your relationships in gaming that aren't in crypto? Like, is there a little bit of a wall there that you've got to break down? Are they willing to jump in and have a conversation and start looking at projects that are gaming in crypto and NFTs? Or is that old guard still trying to hold on and not bring the crypto space into the gaming world?
It's a good question. I think the biggest near term, well, there's 2. There's one that's more near term, and there's one that's more I think it affects almost everyone. But I think in the near term, I think just uncertainty around the regulatory landscape, especially by geography, is something that's very top of mind for a lot of the game companies, whether they're especially those that are coming from the more traditional, traditional or Web 2 backgrounds. And so, because managing a token, all that, making sure they're not classified as security, and then also how do they manage that across a number of users, I think is something that is definitely very top of mind, because there's definitely interest. I wouldn't say there's no interest or they're deriding it. I think the biggest issue is that games are really hard to build, and so why add additional risk for maybe people think, oh, a $2 million, $300 million sellout on NFT is great, but a lot of these games are generating billions of dollars in revenue. So so to them, 10 million, 8 figures is a drop in the bucket, right? And to be able to, and so there's definitely a lot of legal risk and uncertainty, because it's if they do launch something, the worst case that scenario is it's affecting their bigger business, which is this, gigantic, revenue generating business. And so there's probably some there's definitely some uncertainty surrounding that. And I think longer term, which is I think just a problem across all of crypto generally, is that because everything is so fragmented, there's no standards. Moving towards an open source of a web is interesting, but it's definitely pretty Wild West. So like I think like the biggest issue for me is like, you know, sure there's like 200 million active users, yeah, but I mean there's like 7 billion mobile devices in the world. They all already have distribution platforms such as like Apple's App Store or Google Play's App Store, and it's really easy to get an app or at least get a game onto their device, right? So, and I still think the onboarding experience for crypto is pretty broken right now. So, and there's definitely ways that people are trying to address it, but until those hoops are kind of addressed, I think it's limiting the scale for what, or at least the potential of what I think the Web3 gaming industry could be. Hopefully that answers your question.
Good perspective. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. All right, let's get into the projects, guys. That's what we're all here for. So let's take 3 to 5 minutes, probably closer to 5, kind of breaking through each project, what's going on, where they're at in their life of their build, maybe a little more about the project itself, the team, and give us some really good color. You know, just looking at the spaces here, we'll go Chain, Zoo, Botborgs, Powder, Infungibles, and then OpenEra. Yeah, so let's roll. So Chain, over to you, brother. And I know you've had like a crazy 7 days with the launch of the mint, but I won't take any more time. Let's roll. Over to you.
Yep. Thanks, man. So regarding ChainMyth, it is a 5 versus 5 FPS game being built on Solana chain. So we are mixing some MOBA mechanics. So our game will be very much similar to Valorant in terms of gameplay and game mechanics. If you ask me what's the difference between Valorant and ChainMyth, I'll just say it's just the game environment, the game characters, and the spells. These are the 3 things which we are really modifying and changing. But in terms of gameplay and game mechanics, we are just having the popular FPS game on traditional industry, which is Valorant, as the base prototype. So we are having that as the prototype and building very similar to it. And so we are also tokenizing all the assets, such as the characters and in-game items like weapons, skins, and taunts. All this we are tokenizing and distributing it to the NFT owners. So when we tokenize all this, it's basically giving the users the freedom and flexibility to do whatever they want with the assets they purchase. If you look at traditional games, the problem is when you buy something, the max you can do is you can just trade point to point, and that's about it. But in blockchain, you can literally monetize the assets which you purchase. You have many options. One is you can trade. Second is you can rent it out. Whatever assets which you're not using, you can rent it out for X amount of days. For renting, we already partnered with IQ Protocol from Parsec team. So that has been sorted. And obviously you can stake and you can also move around your assets. So if you're going to collaborate with some other metaverse projects, and if they're going to have some kind of VR stuff, or if they can take your 3D objects to their to whatever game they're building, it is giving your user base to go and explore in their project as well. So it's basically moving around your assets as well. And in terms of items like in-game assets like skins, weapons, and taunts, all this we are tokenizing as well. So this will be distributed to all our golden ticket holders. So we have total of 1,250 golden ticket holders. So whenever we come up with some custom skins or custom weapons, all this will be tokenized and distributed it to them. We will just take a snapshot and airdrop to them. Once they receive all those assets, they have 2 options. They can either sell it in our in-game marketplace, or they can just rent it out. So a non-NFT owner or some traditional gamers, if they want to upgrade their weapons, or if they want to purchase some kind of taunts or some kind of specific clothes, all this they have to buy it directly from the golden ticket owners themselves. So this is what we are basically doing. And in terms of development, we are like 60% on progress. So we still have 40% more to go. So we are targeting to roll out this game by next year, March or April. That's our target for now. And all this gameplay clip and anything related to the game snakes, we are planning to post it by end of this month.
How big is your team, Chain?
Okay, yeah. Regarding team, we are a team of 12 members. So we have 3 game developers. All of them are indie game devs from the same gaming university based on India. So those guys graduated from this uni called ICAT. So they have a very nice gaming background, and they were working in a lot of FPS games earlier. And we have 2 smart contract developers. One smart contract developer is from Zilliqa team. He was a former Zilliqa developer, and he's having more than 5 years experience. Another guy is from, we hired him from Solana developer community. So we have 2 smart contract developers, 3 game developers, and other 5 guys are handling all the modeling for the characters. They handle all the different tasks, like one guy handles the modeling for characters, one guy handles the modeling for environment assets, another guy for the weapons, and then we also have 2 different guys to do all the rigging and animation part.
That's a good intro, Chain. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
I will circle back with you, and congrats again on selling out and having a great week. Zoolana, thanks for jumping on, guys. Good morning to you. If you can, give us 5 minutes. Let's talk about the project, where you're at, where you've been, where you're going, the team, the gameplay. Over to you. And I don't know if Brick's gonna cover it or.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. So our project is Zoolana. What we're building here is a blockchain-enabled mobile real-time strategy game. So the idea here is that it's going to be a 4X strategy game, kind of similar to games like Clash of Clans or Infinity Kingdoms, if you guys are familiar with those.
Oh, yeah.
And awesome. Yes. So that's the direction that we're headed. The idea here is that we're going to have similar baseline mechanics to Clash of Clans, War and Order, Infinity Kingdoms, a few other games, Rise of Kingdoms. There's others on our list. Players will build up their settlement in a futuristic fantasy world setting, attacking their foes strategically using a mix of fearsome units and skilled in-game hero characters, all while earning assets on the Solana blockchain. So the idea here is that you're going to be playing a 4X strategy game similar to many on the market right now, which are traditionally kind of in-game asset heavy, resource heavy games. But then obviously using the chain, we can enable people to sell those in-game items outside of the game itself and kind of access that value in a way that they don't have access to already. So similar to ChainMyth, really our strategy here is to take a proven formula for a game that works and to add additional functionality in the form of blockchain tech as, another selling point and just a way to kind of expand the functionality of the genre. So and that's our strategy as of right now. As far as our vision and kind of where we're going, Didi and I are both super fantasy heavy, fiction heavy, like imaginative people. And one of our goals for Zoolana is really to have a deep world behind the game that doesn't just exist in the gameplay. So we want Zoolana to exist in stories around the game, in comics around the game, in shorts, in animations. The world itself is larger than just the game. So our vision for the next year to 3 to 5 years is making this mobile game as big as we can and one of the best on the market and as competitive as it can be. But our long-term vision and the long-term hope for Zoolana is that we're building out a metaverse is a new term, but kind of fictional world, an immersive world is an old term. So that's kind of where we're headed and what we're thinking. So right now we're wrapping up concept on the game. Pre-production and production will start by the end of Q1 in 2022. We're wrapping up the Alpha Red Mint, which was our premium VIP pass to the game. We think the Alpha Red is probably one of the most value-heavy NFTs on the market today. If you hold the Alpha Red, you get tokens from our upcoming IDO. You'll get an airdrop of a profile picture. You'll get an airdrop of in-game characters, in-game weapons, in-game equipment, airdrops of lore NFTs, so NFTs of the story and developing stories in the world, as well as some insider sneak peeks into the game. So that mint is wrapping up by the end of December. And yeah, that was a little bit wandering, I guess, but that's probably all the main points to hit. I'm not sure, Didi, is there anything I didn't mention there?
I think you've got it covered, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's where we are and what we're doing.
In game, the actual gaming piece goes live when?
So game beta is scheduled to release in Q3 of 2022.
Okay.
And we're hoping for a full release in Q1 in 2023.
Okay, gotcha. Very cool. All right, we'll circle back with you. Thanks for jumping on, Zoo. And I know you've got a hard stop in about 30 minutes, so I'll definitely circle back with you first.
Awesome.
Botborgs, good morning, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Grateful to have you. And give us a rundown.
Good morning. So basically what we're building here at Botborgs is an open world hub, kind of where that is based on a multi-planetary system where every planet is like a new experience, and we break these planets up into 3 categories. The PvP planets, where you're able to like verse other players in like games such as the Hoverborgs game, the FPS game, a racing game, and a few other games that we're working on. There's the passive planets like the gallery planet, where you're able to just walk around, meet new people. Your robot comes with a jetpack on it, so you can actually fly around in the air. You can go inside of the buildings, take the elevator up all the floors. And it's more of just like a passive environment where you can like meet new players. And if once you meet new players on there, you could fly over or use the teleporter to go to like the PvP planets or even the solo planets. The solo planets are the third like category of planets that we're making, and it's more of like a parkour, an aim training planet where it's more of like just you, no one else. And so these planets are meant for you to like progress by yourself, as opposed to the PvP planets and the gallery / passive planets where you're multiplayer with other players. And you can travel from planet to planet through a spaceship or through a teleporter that's located on every planet. And we actually like that's pretty much done already. We've posted a few videos of being able to fly from planet to planet, as well as the teleportation feature and the interface on that. But our goal is really to build a diverse like hub of different experiences, so anyone can jump in and have a good time on and find something that they like. So for example, like on the PvP planets, all of the mechanics for every game are completely different. So if you don't like the racing game, you can go and hop in on the Hoverborgs planet and play the tank game. If you don't like the tank game, you can go and play the FPS game. And if you don't like that, you can go play the underwater like submarine battle game that we're making. So it's really like a very diverse like hub for people to just interact with each other on the passive planets. You can chat with each other. As I said, your robot has a jetpack attached to him. Like all the characters have like a little thing on their back, and once you can activate it with like a key on your keyboard, and it opens up a little like jetpack. And if you hold down space, you can fly up and down. Because on our gallery planets, there's a lot of like tall buildings and there's like advertisements on them and stuff like that for other projects. So it's kind of like a Tokyo City kind of vibe. And we already have 2 of the gallery planets built out. We should be releasing those pretty soon, within a week or 2. We're just making the finishing touches on the flying system because we really want to perfect that. And as I was talking earlier, we're still working on a few like cool spaceships to integrate, so people are able to like select their spaceships. Oh yeah, and I forgot that when you're flying from planet to planet, the PvP is turned on, so you're actually able to shoot down other players that are flying with like in the galaxy with you. And there's also red zones where once you enter those zones, you're prompted to join a lobby and you can engage in like actual XP based games where it's like you can play capture the flag, or you can play TDM, free for all, etc. But yeah, that's basically what we're building, and our goal is to just create like a hub of different games for people to be able to experience and for everyone to find something that they like. And one of our planets is actually already live, so you can go and hop on and play the PvP multiplayer Hoverborgs planet, where it's kind of like a tank battle game based on like a capture the flag map. And we've actually hosted a few like events on there with our community, and it's been really fun.
How big is the team, Botborg?
So I wouldn't say there's an exact number. We have like a base of 10 people, and depending on what we're working on. So for example, for right now we're making the spaceship. So we have like for our artists, we have a few artists that are just like solo artists, and as well as I'm not sure if I'd call them a studio or not, but it's basically like a team that has like been developing games for a while. Like one of the people that just started working on our spaceships yesterday, he just finished up working on Diablo, working like for some in-game assets for that. But our team's always like, it's always like moving around depending on what we're working on. So if we're working on like a PvP planet that's a little bit more time consuming, we'll reach out and get more people connected to work with us on it, since our game dev leader has been working in the space for around 13 years, and he's pretty well connected in San Francisco, so he knows a bunch of people that can hop on whenever we need more people to push.
Okay, good. I wonder if cross paths with Co at some point in time. So, all right, good. So Co's out, Kelly as well. Let's keep running through. So we've got 3 more projects to get through. Not even get through, just kind of introduce you guys to, and then we'll go a little bit deeper. I'll bring Koopies on here, obviously, but Alec and Co, I'm sure, have some good questions for the projects that are joining us today. So let's go to Powder Heroes, who's doing a giveaway. By the way, I posted that giveaway up top of the spaces. Infungibles has theirs as well, which is posted up top. We'll go through those 2, and then we're going to go with OpenEra. It looks like he may step off. We'll see. So, Powder Heroes, over to you, and thanks for jumping on.
Hey, glad to introduce Powder and Powder Heroes. So, first starting with Powder. Powder is in the gaming industry, and the company is already there for like 1.5 years. And over the first 1.5 year of the company's life, we have been focusing on the building of a game clip infrastructure. And that means the technologies that are more related to the sourcing from PC, from console, from etc. And also the editing on mobile and also AI clipping. Like on PC, of course, but also from the live streams on Twitch and YouTube. So all these efforts have been surrounding the creation of game clip. And in 2021, we have been thinking about the second question, which is, okay, so we have been helping our content creators and also the mass gamers and also the bigger streamers a lot in their process of content creation. And how can we go one step beyond? And the answer is quite simple. Well, not that simple in execution, but the answer itself is quite simple. It's about monetization. So we think about it in this way. If Powder is about the creation of game clip, then we have Powder Heroes, the new NFT project that we are launching, which is about the monetization of game clips. So we are actually meeting today. It's not yet open. It's going to be open in 1 hour. And our first drop is for the first drop, we're partnering on one side with 3 different blockchain games. One is the Sandbox that I have already mentioned. And the second one is DNA Cat on Binance Smart Chain. And the third one is Life Beyond, built by DIYs, which is very interestingly a mass gaming studio. But like recently, they really had this vision to break into Web3 and bring into life a blockchain game that embraces the open metaverse and concept of tokenization and apps. And on the other side, we also work together with 13 content creators. For the first 2 weeks of December, our 13 content creators did 29 live streams on Twitch to live broadcast the gameplay of the 3 partnered games. And as we have the AI clipping technology, so the highlight moments are automatically detected from the live streams, which gives us a foundation of the content for the NFT drop. And then our designers and content creators, they did the 3D manual rendering to turn it into NFT art. An example is what MoonRoving has been sharing in the space is for the giveaway. It's one of the 1,111 supply. Yeah, so we did our pre-sale 2 days ago, and it was sold out. And today is the public meeting. And for the future, of course, we want to develop the project for long term. And just in summary, what we want to do is to bring Powder Heroes, the game clip monetization, and the Powder, the game clip infrastructure all together. So content creators would have this kind of experience that is like, okay, you go and play around the game. If you are a full-time or even just a part-time content creator, you would get like 20 hours of original footage for from your live streams, and the highlight moments are automatically detected by the AI clipping technology, and then you just spend like 5 minutes to further edit a little bit your content, and then you can easily monetize it. So it's like a create to earn economy. And then on the other side, it's also like we resonate with what Cole you have been talking about. There is kind of like a heavy barrier right now between Web 2 and Web 3. And of course, we are like big believers of Web 3, and we really want to bring the Web 3 into in front of a bigger audience. And since the company has already been in the gaming industry for like 1.5 years, we believe like this is the kind of audience that we can try to educate. So for example, in the short term, like with the content creators, what we do a lot is really like we jump on the calls, educate them about NFTs, about crypto, about blockchain gaming, about the specific blockchain games that they are going to play. And then we see their interest, we answer their questions so that they can answer the questions from their community. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, there are also like Powder Hero NFT holders. And of course, we are also working on utilities on that part. Like, for example, we can imagine that if someone buys a sandbox clip, then most probably this person is interested in the sandbox game. So we're working with the game studios to figure out some game-specific utility perks that matches the interests of the holders. Yeah, so this is like a little bit long of intro that what we are working on.
That was perfect. That was a good opening. Thank you very much. Thanks for jumping on. And thanks for doing the giveaway for the community that's in here. Appreciate that. Infungibles, over to you. Good morning. Thanks for jumping back on the show.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks, MoonRoving and Koopy, for having us back on. We have a 2D browser-based role-playing game that's very heavy player versus player focused that you can bring any Solana NFT into. So if you own one of our Infungibles, you can log into our game, and it will ask you if you want to play with another NFT, and you can take your NFT, maybe your favorite profile pic, and you can put it into one of our mecha styles. We have a growing number of these things that we're releasing. We're about to release a whole bunch of new colors. So once you get into the game, if you want to play with your other NFT, you're in our mecha, and it's just got classic RPG mechanics. You go on missions, you fight NPCs, you have boss fights, and you level up. And as you go along through the game, you acquire new superpowers. You can level those up. You can eventually get equipable items. You have to have a day job. And the game is very player versus player focused. So we get users into our battle arena right away. And what we're hoping is that we get a lot of people attached to using their own cherished NFTs in our game. And so we're right now in the process of partnering with a lot of projects. And we have 26 partner projects right now, and two of them in the top 20 and another 2 to announce this week in the top 20. And so when you come into the game, if you choose to use a pesky penguin, for instance, you'll actually get a unique arena power bonus with your penguin. It's going to be different from the bonuses assigned to other partner projects. And as you level up through the game, that bonus will escalate. And if a certain percentage of the overall pesky penguin community comes into the game, there's actually a bonus attached to that as well. And our game also has league tournaments, league wars, where you can form teams of up to 10 other players, and you do one-on-one battles, but the results apply to your league as a whole in the tournaments. And we're going to have NFT bonuses for our partner projects as well to go along with that. So when we came into this space, this really very much reminded us of the gaming ecosystem that was like forming on Facebook. We got in really early to social games. I co-founded a studio right when those were just getting going that we later sold to EA. So this space felt like that. The games were simple, and there was something unique going on here with tokens and play to earn. What we saw was an opportunity to leverage these communities that surround NFTs and take advantage of that in the game. So we just keep adding new community features that are associated with like whatever NFT you're using. We're also going to do an orphanage, basically, like for wayward minted NFTs. I mean, for wayward rugged NFTs. So if you qualify for that, you can bring in an NFT from a project that's been rugged, and we'll actually apply a special bonus to those as well. So the partnerships are going well. We just kind of pivoted to this about a week and a half ago, and we're getting some traction with it. So we're pretty excited. We'll probably have to push the mint back a little bit because we don't want to mint until the game is done. We had a finished game, but now we're adding new stuff. So we want to launch on day one, right after we mint. So we do have a live demo. We're doing demo tournaments. We just finished one a few days ago. We gave away some SOL to the top 10 on the leaderboard, and we did about 10,000 battles in that with just over 100 players. So people were saying it was pretty addictive. And yeah, I want to keep it brief because we've got a lot of people in here. And man, the room is huge today. You guys really attracted a big crowd. So it's good to be here. And we'll talk more later, I guess, on in the show about some of the other stuff we're doing.
Very cool. I'll have to get in there and try that demo too. I have not. So good to hear about that. And looks like you'll be pushing your launch date from January 5, which is fine. I think as long as you do things right, you'll be successful, right? Sometimes you have projects rush out there, mint out, and then never deliver. So it looks like you're trying to build and deliver ahead of time. So I like that before you kind of expect people to jump in and get into the mint. And thanks for doing the giveaway as well. So his giveaway, guys, for the Infungibles giveaways is up top along with Powder Heroes. But let's go over to OpenEra. Thanks for waiting, man. You're last. I appreciate it. Let's jump in. And then from there, hopefully, I've got a lot of questions, but love to bring Alec and Ko and Koopy into the conversation. I can stop talking as much and just start asking some questions to the 6 awesome projects we have up here. OpenEra, over to you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you, guys. So I think since we won the DeFi hackathon, the Solana DeFi hackathon, we were one of the winners. I think we started off building this RPG game called Sushi Warrior. And we had built out the entire gameplay, I think, for over a month span, but we realized that we could build something bigger. And so OpenEra really is a mixture between RuneScape and Albion Online, combined with some new economic incentives and also crypto economic mechanics overall. But throughout these past, I'd say, 4 months that we've been building out, we've been focusing on 3 core aspects of the game. We have not been doing much in marketing because we want to build the product first, but these core 3 things are: one is interactive NFTs. The second one is no loss gaming. And the third one is focusing on creating experiences that step away from the macro experience that MMORPGs focus on. And if you guys are into research, you can look into Bardo's taxonomy, which talks about killers, achievers, socializers, and explorers. And so to the first point, interactive NFTs, we've actually built out a wallet. So if you guys look up OpenDive Technologies, or I'm going to go ahead and retweet it in our account. We built out an immersive reality wallet. So this is a wallet where you can actually use your NFTs to not only place them in augmented space across your room, but also interact with them and engage with them. And so what this means is that we want to allow people to not only have in-game experiences, but also off-game experiences. So you guys can imagine having legendary weapons as NFTs, and then being able to enter into P2P, PvP fights in real life, just through the wallet itself. And you can imagine also perhaps seeing NFT drops happening in the real world. So perhaps maybe we'll do one of our pet egg drops in Times Square and you have to go find them. And so we started building out this wallet in particular because whenever we showed folks the NFTs and the assets that we built animated, and they were right next to each other, right next to us on our computers, they were amazed, right? Because I don't know, overall, just seeing things more interactive has more of an impact. And we also use AI to kind of generate models, so people thought it was trippy. Now, whenever we hop on a Zoom call and we share people some of these quote unquote NFTs on our Phantom wallets or MetaMask when we were testing on Polygon, the response or reaction was very different, right? It was very flat. And so we realized that we needed a better way to not only create the media for NFTs, but also consume it. And so this is what our wallet is about. And so if you check out our retweet right now from our parent startup or project called OpenDive, you see what we're referring to. And so that's the first thing that we've been focused on. And currently the next version, the next alpha version for the wallet should be coming out this coming week. We revamped the UI from the previous version. And the second part that we're focusing on is this concept called no loss gaming, which we pioneered early on with Aave on Harmony and also a few other EVM chains. And so no loss gaming combines this concept of no loss lotteries. If you guys are familiar with Pull Together on EVM, it's a concept of being able to buy a lottery ticket, let's say for 100 USDC, and then getting your USDC back as soon as the lottery results come in. But if you happen to have the winning lottery ticket, then you get the reward, but you also get your money back. So now we've been developing the mechanics to combine this concept with esports gaming or tournaments. So you can imagine entering into an esports battle royale tournament where you can stake, let's say 10 or maybe 100 or 1,000 USDC, and maybe the pool reward is $1 million, and having the opportunity to get the reward, but also be able to get your stake back in the game. And so that requires a lot of really thinking in terms of how the game mechanics are played out, and also, for example, the introduction of verifiable randomness, so that we can make sure that the game is fair. And so during the Miami Hacker House, which I helped organize the logistics, we were to finish an integration with Jet Protocol. So that's also going to be coming out pretty soon in alpha to test it out. And we're talking to a few people that want to come in as sponsors for the tournament. So now there's this concept of sponsor liquidity that we're kind of exploring. And which leads us to the third part that we're kind of focusing on is that we don't want to build OpenEra just as a simple MMORPG where, you kind of have to grind 10, 12 hours. And in reality, a lot of folks want to have RuneScape or Albion Online on the blockchain or with crypto. And a lot of folks that talk about this are, the crypto degens. But then you ask them, do you have 10, 12, or 18 hours to grind a day? And the answer is really no, right? Because either they're flipping NFTs or they're trading or doing something else. And so then, the target demographic really for an MMORPG game is a younger audience, right? But also we want to be able to tailor to particular audience who, kind of like miss playing RuneScape and would love to have crypto. And so the micro experiences come into play because then you give people the opportunity to do more than just grind continuously to get items. And so, for example, we created these like kind of mini games. There's a fishing game with the wallet. We're kind of designing currently what would it look to kind of have a pet egg NFT in your wallet. And so rather than having this pet egg, show up on a website or a mobile app and you just kind of feed it, what if it shows up in your living room, right? In augmented space, and you have to pet it and you have to kind of shower it perhaps, right? And it's a bit more interactive. And so a lot of these mechanics borrow from existing games and also what we see currently in Asia happening when we talk about avatars and also engagements with like physical real world experiences. And so which leads us to the ultimate goal really for Q1, which is Tutorial Island. And if you guys have played RuneScape, then you're familiar with Tutorial Island, and we're designing that experiences currently, which involves the wallet that we just mentioned, the mini game, and a few other things overall. But I would say part of that, because we don't want to just go ahead and open it up publicly, we have working with a marketing agency that we just engaged with, and also increasing aside on the marketing side, because we want to increase doing more engagement with the community. Perhaps we're going to do more NFT drops and a few other things. So if you guys are interested in learn more, definitely reach out, follow us, and retweet us.
All right, OpenEra, that was awesome. Hey, really quick, and I'll come back to you, but I know that Brick and Zoolana have to drop for another call they have coming up. Any final comments, guys? I'm sorry we didn't get to get into any Q&A with you, but Zoolana, Brick, anything you want to throw out there before you guys hop on the project that maybe you didn't hit initially?
Yeah, I just want to say that anyone who's interested in what we're doing, definitely pop into our Discord. We have a whole due diligence packet formed up. Should take about 20 minutes to read through, and you'll know more about our project by the end of that than you could have ever asked. So anyone who's curious, we have those resources available. And also, thank you to every project that's joined today. There's really some awesome things going on in the space, and it does feel like we are early. everyone says that, and then everyone says, no, you're not early. The space has been developing for years and years at this point, but it really does feel like there's new things going on every day, and the projects that you guys are working on are really exciting. So onward.
Yeah, guys, and use this space as a way to open up kind of unique partnership opportunities too. Maybe not in the projects, but like build new friendships, right? So now that you all have connected, maybe you connected before, but if not, hopefully this is an avenue that helps you guys connect and maybe do some stuff together down the road. So Zoolana, Break, thanks for jumping on. We'll have to have you guys back on, maybe go deeper with you sometime in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we'd love that.
And Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy New Year, and God bless.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Alec and Co, I want to bring you guys in here. I know we got some questions too from the community, but anyone that you wanted to hit first, project question wise, over to you.
I actually need to jump in 10 minutes. I'm going to ask my question, and it's for everyone. So actually for all the projects. And so there's a lot of competition in this space right now. And so I'd be curious to hear how your teams are thinking about growing and sustaining your community in terms of user acquisition and engagement. And that's even if it's now, but even post-mint, and just how you're thinking about building and developing all that.
Feel free to jump in, guys. Anyone that wants to respond to that, we can kind of go around the horn if need be. But any thoughts on Co's question?
Yeah, I think I can go. This is Irvin from OpenEra. Yeah, I think, in the early days of Play to Earn, or when the concepts have been popular, so I think a lot of people were using Play to Earn as the user acquisition strategy. As the business model overall, and when the reality is, a soft user acquisition strategy, right? Because when you compare it to traditional gaming and even the development pipeline and how traditional games are executed, it's really about the gameplay and also about the community that they build overall. And so in our case, we started building and focusing particularly on that core gameplay loop and how that scales out. Contrary to saying we're going to go ahead and launch our token and have people kind of trade it and then do some yield farming.